Hello, and welcome to this recorded tutorial on registering for the New York City Housing Authority's iSupplier procurement portal, the first step you'll need to take in order to participate in NYCHA's solar program. My name is Ron Reisman, and I'm a solar ombudsman with Sustainable CUNY of the City of New York. Sustainable CUNY is supporting NYCHA in the development and implementation of its solar program. As part of that support, we're assisting qualified solar installers and developers in understanding NYCHA's procurement process. This tutorial will guide you through each of the technical steps you'll need to take to navigate NYCHA's procurement process, which will allow you to view their request for proposals, or RFP, when it's issued later this month, and submit your responses to it. In particular, I'll be walking you step by step through the registration process for iSupplier, NYCHA's procurement portal. This is something you will want to do as soon as possible, so you can be registered in time to view the RFP once it is released. Only registered vendors will be able to view it. You may wish to view this presentation on a smartphone or tablet while you register in iSupplier on your desktop computer. That will allow you to pause this tutorial at various points so you can follow along those steps that were just described, or to take down URLs and contact information. This presentation will also be available on the web for future reference. The purpose of this presentation is to let solar developers know what steps they need to take to register with NYCHA's online procurement system, and to get them set up in the system ahead of time so they will be able to view the RFP once it is released. NYCHA handles all procurement, including requests for proposals, as well as more routine contractor work, through an Oracle portal called iSupplier. The RFP documents will be in the iSupplier system, and developers will need to register to view the proposal and submit their bids. Registering is fairly simple, but it does take some time on NYCHA's end to check everyone's data, so it's best to register as soon as possible. In addition to registering with iSupplier, developers will also need to register with Passport, which is a separate New York City-wide system. The main purpose of Passport is to replace the old Vendex paper questionnaires, which you may be familiar with if you've ever done business with the city before. You do not need to register with Passport in order to view the RFP, but you will need to certify that you've registered with it before submitting a completed proposal. Finally, we will mention the City Record, the official journal of New York City's governmental activities, which is how the city publicizes its procurement opportunities. The City Record has a print edition and is also available online at the URL you see above, nyc.gov/cityrecord. If you follow the City Record, you'll be notified once our RFP is released. Before we begin, I just want to list the information that you should have on hand before you register in iSupplier. You will need your official company name, your 9-digit federal tax ID number, and contact information. If you have a DUNS or Dun & Bradstreet number, that will also be helpful, but it is not required to complete the registration process. Another important thing to note is that you should use Firefox as your browser when registering in iSupplier, and, once you're registered, using the interface. Google Chrome is incompatible with the iSupplier software and will give you timeout error messages. Internet Explorer usually works in compatibility mode, but Firefox will work, as will Microsoft Edge. If you don't currently have Firefox on your computer, you may download it free by visiting the website shown on this slide. Once you have all your information together and have opened your Firefox browser, it's time to visit the NYCHA vendor website. The URL is shown on this slide, but for those of you listening rather than watching, it's www.nyc.gov/site/NYCHA/business/vendors.page. Entering that URL will take you to the home page on the NYCHA vendor website, which you see on this slide. This page will link you to all the sites and resources you need to do business with NYCHA. So let's get started with the purpose of today's presentation, which is getting you set up in iSupplier. First, click on the top item in the menu on the left side of the page, iSupplier Vendor Registration/Login. You should now be on the page you see here, titled iSupplier Vendor Registration, which has more specific iSupplier information and links. If you look at the first two bullets in the middle of the page, you'll see a link for new suppliers on top, followed by a link to the iSupplier Quick Guide. If you haven't done business with NYCHA before, you'll need to click on New Suppliers to register. You will also want to make a note about the Quick Guide, which is a PDF document put together by NYCHA's procurement team that you will want to have on hand as a reference, especially after you've been registered. Also on this bullet list is the login for registered vendors, which you will need once you're registered in the system to view the RFP documents. Once you've clicked on New Suppliers, this screen will come up. There are two steps to the registration process. First, you will fill in your company's identification, and then you will have to enter a commodity code for the product or service. As you can see, the Company Details page asks for your company's name, tax country, taxpayer ID, and DUNS number, and then asks you for contact information. The DUNS number is not mandatory, but if you have one, enter it in the appropriate box. The taxpayer ID is your company's 9-digit federal number. Enter it without dashes or spaces. The tax country field is a little tricky, so these next two slides will quickly walk you through how to fill it out in a foolproof way. We assume that everyone here is based in the USA, so we'll show you how to do that. First, type the letter U in the tax country box, and then click on the magnifying glass. This dialog box will pop up. Click the button next to United States, and then click Select. This will close this box and return you to the first registration page with the tax country already filled in. The second step is commodity registration. This step is not particularly relevant for solar developers, nor for anyone who is doing business with NYCHA through a specialized RFP such as this. It's more intended for contractors who are responding to routine bids. However, the system requires everyone to register at least one product or service, so we have to go through it anyway. Click Create under Products and Services to pull up the list. As you can see, there are a number of codes mostly relating to products that NYCHA regularly contracts for. Since this is NYCHA's first offer for leasing solar PV roof space, and since this is being done through the RFP process, we do not have a specific code for solar arrays. Instead, you will want to choose Professional Services or its subcategory, Professional Services Other, which is a general designation used by many vendors that go through the RFP process. You can scroll through the codes or search for that. Once you've found it, click its box under Applicable, and then hit the Apply button in the upper right corner. Once you've applied the commodity code, you'll be taken to the screen you see here. If the information is correct, check the Submit button in the upper right. That will send your information to NYCHA, which then verifies it. Depending on the volume of registration requests NYCHA has to process at any given time, the verification process can take anywhere from 1 hour to 3 days, but may be even longer if a large number of solar developers apply at the same time. This is why we're urging you to register early enough so that you're in the system by the time the RFP is issued on September 29th. Here is the confirmation screen you will see once you submit your information. It acknowledges NYCHA's receipt of your registration request and advises you that it is pending approval. you will not immediately have access to iSupplier. But once NYCHA checks your information against state records and is able to verify what you submitted, they will send you an email with a temporary password that will enable you to enter iSupplier. The email message will come from WFFMS, New York City Housing Authority. It may go to your spam folder, so be sure to check there. Once you are in iSupplier, you will be able to view the RFP and upload your bid. The list of current RFPs are available at the Procurement Opportunities tab on NYCHA's vendor page. You do not need to log into iSupplier to see what is being offered, but you do need to log in to view the RFP itself. Once you have clicked on the Procurement Opportunities tab and found the solar RFP, there are two things to make a note of. First, there is a 5-digit negotiation number on the left, which you will want to keep on hand to search for the full RFP once you are in iSupplier. Second, if you click on the eyeglasses icon on the right, you will be taken to a page where you can view an abstract of the RFP. In order to view and download the full RFP, including all exhibits and attachments, however, you must log into iSupplier and search for the RFP. The easiest way to do that will be to search by number using the 5-digit negotiation number found on this page. Once you have logged into iSupplier, you can view the full RFP, upload your proposal, and update your business classification. The RFP documents and the procedures for uploading your bid when you are ready to do so will be under the Sourcing Supplier folder in the main menu. As mentioned in the last slide, you can find the RFP by searching Open Negotiations by their 5-digit number. The main body of the RFP and all exhibits and attachments will be available for download. When you are ready to make your proposal, you will once again go to the RFP in iSupplier's Sourcing Supplier folder. There will be an option to respond, and that will allow you to answer the required questions and upload your documents. Further details on how to upload your documents are available in the iSupplier Quick Guide on the NYCHA website. The iSupplier Portal Full Access tab will allow you to perform various administrative functions such as updating your contact information and commodities registration. Additionally, if you are a minority or woman-owned business enterprise, you may want to indicate that through iSupplier by going to the Admin tab and clicking Business Classification. Hopefully this presentation will help you get registered in iSupplier ahead of time so you can view the RFP and work on your bids. If you have any further questions, there are a number of NYCHA resources available to support you. As I mentioned earlier, the iSupplier landing page shown here has a link to the Quick Guide that was put together by NYCHA's Procurement Department. This guide is general and applies to all vendors, but will be useful to you as it goes into more depth on the functions of iSupplier itself. One thing to note is that iSupplier recently went through a cosmetic redesign, and the graphics look slightly different now than they'll appear in the Quick Guide, but the functions and location of everything remains the same. If you have further questions about iSupplier registration or support, Kim Young is NYCHA's Vendor Relations and iSupplier Support Specialist. She can be reached at procurement@nyc.gov. She'll be happy to assist you. Additionally, you may wish to contact Roxana Kalinescu if your iSupplier confirmation and temporary password is delayed more than 72 hours. She's the person who checks and approves new accounts. Her number, as shown here, is 212-306-6630. In addition to iSupplier, solar developers who wish to respond to the RFP will also need to register in Passport, which is a citywide system that is currently being rolled out by the Mayor's Office of Contract Services. In the past, anyone who did business with the city needed to fill out a paper-based Vendex questionnaire, which you may be familiar with. These questionnaires are now done online through Passport. This is not a step you need to take immediately because you'll be able to view the RFP as long as you're registered in iSupplier. But you will need to register in Passport before submitting your proposal. Information about Passport is available at the sites listed here. The resources available there include course guides, step-by-step user manuals, quick reference guides, and videos. Here you can see a screenshot of the Passport resources page. It contains course guides, user manuals, videos, and more. Under the Training tab, you can sign up for in-person workshops as well. MOCS is also happy to assist you with any questions you may have regarding Passport via email. The address is help@nyc.gov. One more thing that will be of interest to solar developers wishing to do business with NYCHA is the City Record, the official journal of New York City. It is published every weekday in a print version and available online as either a searchable database or a PDF of the print version. All procurement opportunities with the City of New York, including NYCHA's upcoming solar RFP, are publicized through the City Record. Visitors can check the record or sign up to receive personalized notifications. Following the City Record will be the best way for you to be aware of when our RFP is released. In addition, as mentioned earlier, you are able to browse procurement opportunities on NYCHA's website whether or not you are logged in to iSupplier. So let's do a quick recap. If you've registered in iSupplier ahead of time, are aware of registering for Passport, and are following the City Record, you should then have the information you need to be ready for the RFP. We are planning a September 29th release for the commercial solar RFP. In addition, there will be a proposers conference at 10:30 a.m. on October 10th in NYCHA's offices at 90 Church Street. Attendance is not mandatory, but is highly encouraged. In order to attend the proposers conference, you will need to register via email. Information on how to register for the conference will be available in the RFP. Don't forget to enroll in iSupplier as soon as possible. If you have any questions about that process or NYCHA procurement in general, please contact Kim Young at procurement@nycha.nyc.gov. Thanks for listening.